Hi, in this tutorial, we'll see how we can take a paper that we found in a literature review and create a graph around it, or to do the same for a group of papers. So what we need to begin with is understanding how we locate a paper's digital object identifier, which is just an identifier that allows us to identify this same document regardless of where we are looking for it. Then we will use Inciteful in order to build a graph, and we'll also show how to do it using Research Rabbit. So let's begin with finding the DOI. So here's an example for a quick deep research I did on ChatGPT. And after I did this research, it provided me with a summary for my research question, and eventually I have a list of sources. I asked it to use only peer-reviewed sources. Most of those are legit. I selected the first one and it just opened in a new window. And this window is showing me the web page for this paper. Now, I will find the DOI usually either at the beginning, where I have some information about the paper, or at the bottom. So here I can see the sections, and there should be an about this article at the bottom. So what I have here is the digital object identifier for this article right here with the citation. So the digital object identifier is usually referenced by this website, which is just a website that allows you to locate any object identifier. And what you have under the backslash here is the actual DOI of the paper, right? So it's a series of digits and letters and signs, which just uniquely identifies this specific paper. If I want to look up this paper somewhere else, I need to copy this number. Now, just in case you don't find it or you don't know how to find it in the web page of the paper, you can try and search for this paper. Let's do it even more reasonable, like the way that you would do it. Let's take the title of the paper and look it up on Google Scholar. So I got a paper, and this is a link to the actual web page containing it, and then I can cite it. And when I cite it, I can sometimes find the DOI here. I don't see it here in this case, but in some cases, when you cite it, you can see the DOI. So for now, we will use the DOI that we found here at the bottom of the page. And we are going to use it in order to graph the landscape that is related to this paper. So one tool which we can use is Inciteful, a relatively recent tool, which just helps you discover relevant literature. So if I just put in the DOI of the paper here, I just paste it, it already looks up the paper. And if I choose this paper, it creates a graph around the paper. So I'm waiting for it to be done. And then if I look up this graph that was created, I can see here that there's a network of papers that are related to this paper, either papers that this paper cited or papers that were cited by papers cited by this paper, etc. Since this paper is relatively recent, not many other papers cited it, I guess. So you don't see a network like from it to the future, but you do see a network from it to the past and from those to the future. Now, one thing you can try to do is you can try to see how two papers connect. So Inciteful would show you the quickest path or all the possible paths between two papers just by showing like how you can traverse the citation tree until you get from one to the other. This is somewhat useful. What I think is more useful is to just put in a group of papers and see all the possible papers that are within the network of these papers. So if I just go to my original search and let's say that I also take this paper, which I haven't seen before, and I can add it to my graph. So if I look it up, here's another one I can edit. And I also want to edit another one. I think, yeah, here is another paper. I copy the DOI and I put it here. And I add this one as well. So what I would expect is to have a network graph with all of those papers, plus the papers that connect them or papers that are related to them. So if I look it up here, the thing is with Inciteful is that I think it's because of the limit of the depth of the graph that you can go into. It doesn't always show you the actual papers that you selected. So if I look here, the names of the papers were Bernard et al. Oh, sorry, Pasteur, McDaniel, and Martin. And I don't think that we will find them here. Your original papers are usually like here. Here is one of the original papers. I think so. I don't know if you can find others. Oh no, it's just the author. In any case, yeah, it does have a bit of a problem showing all the papers that you selected, especially if they are too far apart in time and in citation distance, which is why you can also use another tool called Research Rabbit. Here is Research Rabbit. You need to register to it, and then if you want to make a graph using several papers, all you need to do is to start a new collection. And I'm just going to call it Lit Review Collection. And in this collection, I will start adding papers. So I add papers here. I'm just going to paste the DOIs of the papers that I used before. So it was this one. I can edit directly, or I can look it up in other databases. I'm just going to add all of these directly. And now I have my three papers. If I now choose similar work, and since all the three are selected, so Research Rabbit is a site that just goes on horizontally forever. So this is your starting point. I selected all of the papers and I chose similar work. It can show me, usually not too bad, um, the network of those papers and those connecting them. Now, you'll see in this case, again, one of them is missing, and it's the one from 2024. And I think the reason being that it hasn't been cited yet, or it cannot find other papers that cite it. So it might be an issue. Usually it's not an issue. And what you can see here is exactly this network of connecting papers. What are the metrics that Research Rabbit or Inciteful use in order to create this network? We're not going to get into it this time, but usually it means that these papers are close both semantically and in terms of the citation chain between them. That's it.